It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. Love to hear from you today. Full Court Press text line is open, 435-339-0321.
Nah, JK, it's closed today. No text allowed.
Well, I have reopened it. Love to get your feedback. Various different topics today. Major League Baseball All-Star Game is tonight. Home Run Derby was last night. You got the NBA Summer League in process in Las Vegas. There's more news about Major League Baseball expansion, what could be going on there. Utah State football in the news for unfortunate reasons. We'll need to talk about that. Former Aggies doing well in Las Vegas in the Summer League. Stat that blew our minds, our player of the week. So a lot of different things to touch on today. But as always, if you've got a question or a topic you want us to address, feel free to hit us up on the Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321. But I think we need to start with some of the news of the day. Unfortunately, Utah State football in the news for the wrong reasons. Not really the team, but I guess we can now say a former player, as he has been dismissed from the team. But I'm scratching my head on some of the details on this story. So news broke today that 22-year-old Kingsley Cray Holliday was booked into the Cache County Jail Monday night. And it's got multiple charges against him of drug trafficking. He had prescription drugs that he was selling on campus or near campus, but also a charge of rape that happened last September. And he wasn't put into jail until last night. So I'm not sure I understand all the details of what's gone on here, that an incident like that could happen last fall, and now he's just getting put in jail for some of these substance prescription drug issues. But the bottom line here is that this offensive lineman, who's a transfer to Utah State from, where was he last? He's bounced around a little bit. He was at
Snow College.
I think he was at Southern Utah before that.
Is he there as well?
So he's transferred a couple different places. He landed in Logan, but now he's in jail. Utah State interim Director of Athletics Jerry Bovee issued a statement today when this was taking place and coming to light. He said USU Athletics is proactive in taking a comprehensive approach in building a culture of safety and respect. Our student athletes are trained and educated numerous times annually as it relates to sexual conduct, and we unequivocally will not tolerate any violations of the law, close quote.
Yeah, I think, as far as the timeline, certainly I wonder why, you have a very serious crime in September alleged, and it doesn't, we're almost a year after the fact. Maybe justice just takes that long, because from reading the reports, it seemed like they were on top of everything as far as investigating it, and securing the evidence against, at least building their case against Kingsley Holliday. But yeah, the fact that it's a year later, the drug charges obviously stemming from a more recent investigation. So it's like two different investigations were going against this guy on two different types of crimes. But ultimately, he's in jail now. There will be a trial, and innocent until proven guilty. But it doesn't look good.
No, it does not look good.
But to summarize who Kingsley Holliday is, as mentioned, I hadn't looked too far into it. I was reading Will Fieldwright's article to update. I knew the name, but transferring from Snow College, may have been at SUU before then. I didn't double check that, but he didn't play last year. And from my notes of depth chart and all that from spring ball, he wasn't really set to be a rotation player this year. So into the rotation guy, I don't know how much that really matters in this case, but if you're curious, it's not like Utah State lost a starter, which, they did actually at the beginning of last year. They lost a starting guard who was kicked off the team for criminal actions.
Mm-hmm.
So this time it's happening again, apparently, but this time it's a reserve interior offensive lineman, played guard center.
Yeah, and I know it's frustrating for a lot of Aggie fans or just those in the community that, as you said, there was somebody last year who kicked off the team for criminal charges. Yeah, this situation that has surfaced, and there's been a few others in the recent history for Utah State. And Jerry Bovey's right. The team does a lot to educate, to inform of what is and isn't appropriate, what the consequences are. But this isn't unique to Utah State's campus either. Not to excuse it or to make it right that we should just not pay that much attention to it, but it's really frustrating.
Yeah, so there's one thing that I want to talk about as far as, people, these are high-profile cases when players get arrested, on the local football team. And by my count, there have been 3 players. I don't pay super close attention, but I've noticed 3 players that have been, booked for different violations. One was a giant nothing burger because it related to, unpaid traffic tickets. And 2 others were for more serious offenses. So basically you have 2 Utah State players this offseason that have had some run-in with the law, serious run-in with the law. And that can be frustrating to see because you think, is our football team just full of criminals and whatnot? But, I looked at the numbers today because I was kind of curious. It's like, what would be the normal rate? If you took roughly 120 players, which is about what Utah State's roster is by my count. Surely there's going to be a few in there just by the law of averages. And another thing to keep in mind is that, the football team is made up of kids that are ranging from about 18 to 24. By, U.S. crime statistics that I was looking up earlier today, that group of, young men, that's, the most likely demographic of any demographic to commit crime. Speaking of age and gender. 18 to 24-year-old men, they commit crimes more than any other demographic, at least on a per capita basis. And if you look at Utah State's crime, if we're looking at 2 out of roughly 120 players, that rate of crime, if you want to even call it that, is a quarter of the per capita, crime rate of people that age. So, if you're frustrated that Utah State, their football team is full of criminals, don't be, because they commit crime at a significantly lower rate. So don't say that the Utah State football team is full of criminals, because it's not.
It's right. You're absolutely true. It's not full of criminals. But what I guess is frustrating is that every 6 months almost feels like there's another bad actor among the group. And I know that's frustrating for the coaching staff. I know it's frustrating for the administration, the athletic department. All you can do is just keep doing your best to try to weed that out. Yeah. Make sure you're recruiting people of good character and continuing to communicate what is and what is not acceptable. And maybe it's not getting through enough. Maybe they need to be doing more. But it is frustrating that it seems to keep happening. About every 6 months we hear of a new case.
Yeah, well, and if you want to be a realist, you're going to understand it's never going to be enough. Because for all the talks they have and for all the stuff and and these guys will even get more, training, if you want to call it that, as far as, don't be an idiot. You've been gifted a pretty nice opportunity. Don't blow it. And it still doesn't get through.
Right.
Because there's still people who, despite their circumstances, are going to commit these crimes. And like I said, Utah State, as far as the going average, they're doing pretty dang good. And the other thing, you mentioned, the two players who've been, booked on, notable crimes, both were kicked off the team immediately. So Utah State's not tolerating this. They're backing it up. When they say they don't tolerate it, they're not.
Yeah, that's a great point, too. It's not like they're turning a blind eye and like, well, we're not sure what really happened. You got to, give them a benefit of the doubt. It really wasn't that serious.
Yeah.
I mean, this coaching staff is like, look, if you committed a crime, you did something that was unbecoming to someone of your position, you're gone. The thing that is curious about this case is that a pretty serious sexual assault allegation apparently took place last September. And so that's what has me really scratching my head on this, is why is he just getting arrested now? He got arrested because they did some undercover stuff with these drug purchases.
Yeah, they did like a little sting
operation with these prescription drugs that he was peddling. So I'm a little baffled as to why the other case and allegation was still out there and hadn't been dealt with until it's coming to light now with all these other charges against him.
Yeah, I know the criminal justice process can be slow, but yeah, a year does seem like a long time, especially given, like I said, they seem to be on top of it. As far as gathering the evidence, I don't know.
Now, the situation, for those unfamiliar, this sexual assault case took place off campus. So campus police, athletics officials may not have been fully informed because it's in the hands of a different jurisdiction. How well are they communicating? How much did these other officers know that he was a football player or even a USU student? So there are some things that we're not sure about. They just are not made clear. But still seems like a long time to get a case and an allegation that serious kind of figured out.
Yeah, and I would hope it was just there's talk about incompetence as far as investigating these types of crimes. I'm hoping if that's just it and it wasn't some kind of, if there isn't some kind of cover-up. Doesn't seem like there was.
Doesn't seem like it. I mean, based on some things that have happened over the last several years, and especially after the Torrey Green situation, they're not playing that game.
Yeah, I'm not going to attribute malice where incompetence can be substituted. So I'm going to go with that explanation.
There you go. A couple of texts coming. By the way, you can read more details at CashValleyDaily.com. 9315 texting in. How long was this former player on the team? I don't remember him playing minutes in a game.
I think last year was his first year, if I remember correctly. I should probably look this up. I already deleted him off of my Excel spreadsheet, so now I don't have any of the information. But I think he was on the team last year, and before then, I hadn't really kept track of him.
He was in Logan last fall.
Yeah, so he was on the team. His roster page has been scrubbed now. You can't even find it. So,
yeah. But it took him a while to process the DNA.
I wonder if
it was an old. I don't know what the process was. Why the rape kit didn't get processed quicker. I don't know those details.
So that's an area where like people talk about how long it takes to analyze those. They'll sit there for like years, months or even years. So that's where I think maybe that's why it took so long, because they gathered all the evidence, but it took them almost a year, like 10 months. So,
yeah, multiple. And it makes it tricky too, and it's multiple counties, multiple agencies involved to get everybody on the same page. But no matter what, it's an unfortunate situation. A couple other texts coming through. 9315. Sam is the name of the day. Yes, Sam Merrill had himself a game last night. 8 3-pointers for Cleveland in their summer league game. He was just on fire from deep.
Yeah, he was just chucking them up. Halfway through the game, he was taking heat check threes and still draining him. And he basically went viral. He was a summer league viral sensation.
Yes, he did.
You get those every now and again, and he was one of those. Like I said, you get hit 8 3-pointers in a game. You're bound to do that.
Saw some people referring to it as a revenge game because he was with the Memphis Grizzlies for a while. He rolled his ankle, and they didn't have patience with his recovery, and they cut him.
It's like, here, this is what you guys are missing out on. Let me drain 8 3-pointers on your face.
And it wasn't like he was a high-volume shooter either. He was 8 for 11 from 3.
Yeah, he's not pulling one of these 8 for 20, Brock Miller specials out there.
Yeah.
I just realized that sounded like I was throwing shade on Brock Miller. That wasn't intended.
27 points for Sam Merrill, but he also had 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal, plus 14 in the plus-minus, and helped lead his team to victory last night over the Grizzlies.
Yeah, so he's certainly making himself a case to hang around with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's kind of on thin ice where, in a league that's looking to save money, he's sitting on a non-guaranteed contract. So he's certainly trying to make a case, and he's doing a pretty good job. It's like, hey, look, I can hit tons of 3-pointers and, don't need any room. I'll just hit them.
And this wasn't his only, big game. He's played pretty well so far this summer.
Yeah,
he's got to show that consistency.
Yeah, you look at, I think, he has an argument to be the best 3-point shooter in the Summer League so far in terms of volume and percentage. Like, a lot of the guys who end up just chucking up a bunch of volume, and we'll kind of get to this later, we talk about Keyontae George, but Sam Merrill, one of the few guys putting up volume and efficiency in the Summer League so far, and he's done it across 3 games. Some of the guys who look good, I think Cam Whitmore, he's played 1 game. He went 6 of 10 from 3. So he's looking at 60%. Sam Merrill's played 3 games, and I think he's sitting at 48% or something like that. Granted, that 8 for 11's pulling a lot of weight.
That really
in that
helps,
case.
right? Because on Sunday he was 4 for 11 from beyond the arc.
But even still, that's not a bad percentage because that's still in the mid to high 30% rate. So he's playing very well in terms of his efficiency, and he's showing his strength. His strength is shooting, obviously. The reason he's not more consistently on the roster has to do with other areas like defense. But you want guys to show out on their strengths when they're out here in the Summer League, and he's doing that.
Right, absolutely. 5452 texting in. Change of subject, but Kalani Sitake has emerged as a leading candidate for the vacant Northwestern job. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that.
I had not heard that either. I've not paid attention to that. I've noticed what's been going on at Northwestern and also at West Virginia. So anything in the West, which awkwardly enough are both east of us.
Yeah, right.
It's funny that the Western United States can be either us or Missouri. Just the column of states in there. But yeah, that would be interesting and be a big blow to BYU. Going into the Big 12, already a really tough, situation. Kyle Whittingham didn't fare super well on the move to the Pac-12. But he weathered it, and now he's doing absolutely fantastic.
Learned, adjusted, and now is excelling.
Yeah. And Kalani Sitake could very well have that same kind of arc, but if he leaves, then BYU's in even more deep crap. Because then you have to find another good coach, which can be a little harder for BYU.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, BYU fans better pray that Sitake doesn't leave.
It's kind of a late hour to be replacing a head coach.
Oh, yeah. That's
from the outside, especially.
We talked about how Danny Sprinkle coming on somewhat late. This would be way worse.
I don't see how that's an appealing position for Kalani Sitake. Northwestern, they're in a tough conference. They're kind of a smaller school. High on academics, that's okay. But it's going to be a little bit harder, there's going to be a challenge to recruit there. He's used to that. He's had a challenge to recruit to BYU. They have different standards in most places. But I don't know. I think unless they can throw a lot more money at him.
Yeah, if they can throw more money at him. Bronco Mendenhall left BYU to go coach Virginia, which, that was kind of a step up in the sense that he went to an actual Power 5 program, but would have felt the BYU job was better for him than the Virginia job was. and this may be that kind of same thing, especially now that BYU is going to the Big 12. Like, maybe a bit more money. And yeah, BYU might have a bit of a rough time, but I think BYU will eventually be able to persevere, a rough initial stage.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like Northwestern. They've won 4 games in the last 2 years. It's not like Northwestern's going to be vastly better than what BYU is going to have to go through.
You'd be walking into a program that's struggling, but you'd also be walking into a lot of controversy.
Yeah. A lot of these kids may or may not have been involved in that mess that's been going on as far as hazing.
I don't know why you'd want to walk into that from being on the outside without really any formal ties to the program.
Yeah.
Like if it was your alma mater or you spent time there and you're like, okay, I can be the one to bring us back to where we were. But none of that fits the bill for Kalani Sitake.
Yeah.
So that really surprises me if he is a leading candidate.
Yeah. But can't make decisions for other people.
No.
They'll do what they want to do, regardless if our logic and our reasoning is different, because people behave how they're going to behave.
Yes. Coming up on the other side of a quick timeout here from the Full Court Press, the NBA in-season tournament has been announced. Adam Silver talks a little bit about it. Utah Jazz, who are they going to be grouped with, and how this is going to work. Some comments from the commissioner on that. We've got it was Major League Baseball had their home run derby last night, and Rob Manfred making some comments about expansion possibilities and speaking a little bit more formally about getting to 32 teams. And what does that mean for Salt Lake and the state of Utah? All that's coming up. We'd love to hear from you as well on the Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321.
Elements has delicious lunch specials. Soup, salad, and bread for just $10 is tasty and quick. Elements lunch menu is full of scrumptious items. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecued chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite, Chipotle fried chicken sandwich. Thursdays, enjoy Elements house-made smoked brisket, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are conveniently located at 2 locations, North Logan inside the new Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, along with the entire staff, have over 75 years of combined medical experience, guaranteeing your family the very best patient care. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho and accepts most insurance products, including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, North Logan and Providence.
Forget the weather this summer with York Home Comfort Systems. Now's your chance to get local rebates, financing options, and industry-leading manufacturer-backed warranties on your new home comfort system. Plus, you can get up to $2,000 in tax credits with IRA 25C federal tax credit. Installing a York Home Comfort System's even more affordable. Maximize your savings and forget the weather this summer. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning Showroom is west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. We have some surprising but awesome news to announce. Purple, the rocket ship in the mattress industry, has purchased IntelliBed, the best mattress in the industry. We could not be more excited. The beds have yet to arrive, but we flew out with Purple, and seriously, this new IntelliBed Purple lineup, it is immaculate. We have the whole Purple lineup and the IntelliBed Purple lineup. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress, now partnered with IntelliBed Purple.
Looking for a stable career with great pay, benefits, and positive work environment? This is Scotty with Homestead Cabinets in Hiram. We produce high-quality, state-of-the-art custom cabinetry and are looking for employees who want to become skilled craftsmen. Work Monday through Friday with weekends off. Wages start at $16 per hour with opportunities for growth as you gain experience. Benefits include daily free breakfast, monthly profit sharing, as well as great health insurance. Homestead is a company that values its employees. They emphasize growth of the individual as well as the company. Go to homesteadcabinet.net and apply today.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Best of Northern Utah contest. Winners have been announced. The gold and silver winners. You'll start to see the stickers, the emblems around town for those that are proudly displaying their victories. You can see who all the winners are on bestofnorthernutah.com. Pick up a free copy of the Best of Northern Utah magazine. A great guide if you're new to the area or just looking for recommendations for different services, businesses that people have voted and declared they're the best at what they do. Go check it out. And about a dozen different places where you can go get a free magazine. The map is located on bestofnorthernutah.com. And help us as we support local business and shop local. So bestofnorthernutah.com. So the NBA has their summer league going on in Las Vegas. As we mentioned, Sam Merrill had himself a big night last night. 8 3-pointers made. Justin Bean, he was involved with the Celtics. Sorry, I'm on the wrong day. I got to get on to Monday here.
Justin Bean played on Sunday. He played Saturday, Sunday.
Let's see, Nimish Keta, he played last night. And kind of a smaller role, only 10 minutes as a starter. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks.
It's usually a good sign when you're a starter and then they only play you 10 minutes. Because it means they don't really care about seeing you in Summer League anymore. It's like, but Victor Wembanyama gets pulled, other great players get pulled. Keyontae George is on watch to get pulled from Vegas Summer League.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will because maybe, I don't know if they have any more guards. They just want to keep seeing him play and want to establish some consistency. But guys who play well in Summer League, coaches are like, all right, we've seen enough of you. Get out of here. Let's go play these other guys and see if they're worth anything.
Right, because Keyontae George last night, 26 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, 3 rebounds. I mean, the guy just continues to be one of the highlights of the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's people saying, is he going to be the MVP of the Summer League? Because I forgot they handed out an MVP award for the Vegas Summer League. So certainly playing really well, and he has the Jazz undefeated in Vegas Summer League play. It's 2 games, but
yeah, well, it's 3. No, sorry, they've played 2. They only played 2.
So we'll see if the Jazz actually do something in the getting in, because they do a playoff format after, was it 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, I think it's later this weekend is when that starts.
Yeah, because they take the teams with the best records and they throw them into a playoff bracket.
Big performance for Johnny Juzang off the bench. He's starting to evolve and be involved more, especially with outside shooting. 26 points, 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a block to go along with it for Johnny Juzang. And Lukas Shamanik, who missed some time with a knee injury. It was a knee injury. I thought it was a shoulder, but it was a knee. But he got back involved last night. 14 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. In a decent overall game for him, and he was a plus 17 in the plus-minus.
Yeah, we're seeing some guys consistently perform. But yeah, Keyontae George, he's the guy that I'm just fawning over now. It's just... Especially because, I was comparing numbers. I know somebody else did this before me, where they were comparing Donovan Mitchell's Summer League performance to Keyontae George, and the numbers are very favorable and comparable as far as Keyontae George. And he was just comparing over 2, Las Vegas Summer League games. But, I looked at it. Donovan Mitchell played 5 Summer League games his rookie season. Played in the Salt Lake Summer League, played 2 games in Vegas. Keyontae George is up to 5 games now, and similar in a lot of ways. Donovan Mitchell averaged 20.4 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Keyontae George, 21 points, just under 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Donovan Mitchell shot 39% from the field. Keyontae George at 46%.
Wow.
Donovan Mitchell's at 31% from 3. Keyontae George, 38% from 3. Now, Donovan Mitchell went on to have a spectacular rookie season, and it'd be absolutely spectacular if Keyontae George did that as well, but it's a high bar, and so far Keyontae George seems to be filling it. So
yes.
I don't know if that's a comparison I really want to, go down the road and start truly making, but the early returns are looking pretty good.
Very, very solid for Keyontae George.
I know some other people have already joked about this, but Trying to imagine if the Jazz traded away Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, and then like a year later they already have replacements.
Walker Kessler,
like
and
Walker
Keyontae George.
Kessler replacing, Rudy Gobert. Eventually getting up to that maybe all defense, maybe even defensive player of the year type level. Keyontae George maybe becoming a 20-plus point per game scorer. Maybe even a better distributor. Maybe not as, I don't think he'll ever be as good a scorer as Donovan Mitchell is, but, as far as being a combination scorer and distributor, like, that would be absurd and should win. You'd have to give Danny Ainge, like, Executive of the Century Award for that kind of fleece of the NBA. Here, we're going to give away 2 All-NBA players, and we're going to get tons of assets, and then, like, use one asset, basically, because he got Walker Kessler back for Rudy Gobert, but use one draft pick to replace Donovan Mitchell. And then you have all these assets.
Yeah, we got younger and cheaper, and we have a whole lot more to play with.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch more assets for free. That would be absurd. There's a long road ahead for that kind of thing to be fulfilled, but there's a lot of reasons to be excited as a Jazz fan.
Early returns are very exciting.
Yeah, you got at least one young player who's playing good, which if you draft 3 guys in the first round and one of them plays super well, then you got to be ecstatic because that's not a bad hit rate for first-round picks.
Taylor Funk, by the way, for the Miami Heat, struggled a little bit last night in 13 minutes. No points. Did grab 4 rebounds and an assist. He was plus 11 off the bench. But low scoring game, 73-70 was the final. But Taylor Funk still trying to find his way in the NBA Summer League.
Yeah, he's not. He talked earlier about Sam Merrill. He's showing off his strength. There may be questions about maybe if he's really improving on his weaknesses as far as defense. Taylor Funk, the red flag is he's not even producing in terms of his strengths. That off-ball shooting, being a stretch 4. He's not showing that off in a positive way, and it's just game after game. And so you really worry about whether or not he's going to be able to latch on with somebody, unless somebody really likes him. And maybe the fact that he's been you talk about his plus minus, and like multiple games where he's been maybe relatively unproductive, the Heat have done well when he's on the floor. So maybe there's something that, I've not exactly dove deep into the tape. Maybe there's something in there that coaches like, and he latches on. But for now, it is a bit worrying that one of the things we know he can do really well, and that's be a stretch 4. Not exactly doing the thing that stretch 4s do.
Yeah, not really seeing that yet out of Taylor Funk. No real games of note tonight. Jazz don't play. Boston doesn't play. Neither does Cleveland.
I thought the Kings played.
Did the Kings play?
I thought I saw them on the schedule because I know the same thing that basically nobody of note for us plays except for the Kings.
Do play. You're right. They play the Bulls tonight on ESPN2, 8 o'clock. So you can see Neemias Queta play tonight.
If he's still playing, if he only played 10 minutes. Or maybe they played him lower minutes because he said he played yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they played him lower minutes to lower, load if they're playing back-to-back games.
Potentially. He's also somebody that they've had a lot of tape on, so
yeah, it's like
you really need to play him a lot during the summer league.
Neemias is in his 3rd summer league, and he's played a bunch in the G League. He's played some in the NBA, not enough. It's like, okay, Kings, you know who you have, right? Play him. You need a backup center.
Yeah, turn him loose.
You were crying about it all last season. Every press conference, the reporter's like, what are you going to do a backup center? Rashawn Holmes and was it one of the Zellers that they had on the team, I think, maybe? And somebody else. And they're just like, what are you going to do a backup center? And it's like, well, you have this kid out of Utah State. Maybe try him. And one time they said they were going to let him try. And then he played like 5 minutes. And then the one time he played like 10 minutes, he went 5 of 5 from the field, grabbed a handful of rebounds, and then they never played him again.
Go figure. So one of the things from Las Vegas that has been revealed are the terms and details about this in-season tournament, which we've been hearing that the NBA would be doing. This upcoming season, they will initiate it. It'll begin on Friday, November 3rd, and will end on Saturday, December 9th. So the semifinals and championship, so the semifinals December 7th, championship on the 9th. Those will take place in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. So there's going to be group play, and then there are going to be knockout rounds. And so there were 5 different groups, and so there will be each team will play the 4 designated group play games on what are called tournament nights. So it's 1 game against each opponent in their group, 2 games at home, 2 on the road is how that works. And NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, meeting with members of the media and fans down in Las Vegas, spoke a little bit about this tournament and how it's finally started to materialize for the NBA.
So this is a concept that has been rumbling around the league office for about 15 years. And we spent a lot of time with our competition, with our players association, our players and our teams, figuring out just what the right format would be. What's interesting, it's not a new concept in sports. For those who follow particularly international soccer, it's a long tradition of having in-season tournaments, mid-season tournaments, different kinds of cups throughout the year. So we thought, what a perfect opportunity for a global league like the NBA, and it's a perfect fit for our game. All 30 teams will participate in this in-season tournament, so every single team has a chance to win this cup. We chose Las Vegas to host the semifinals and final game because this city knows how to host big events. That's why you're all here. Just want to remind all of you that new traditions take time. You guys, when you're talking about this on ESPN, it takes a little bit of time to establish a new tradition. But all throughout sports, we're seeing new innovations. And now is the time for this NBA in-season tournament.
So there you have it. There's Adam Silver talking about it, revealing it. This was yesterday. So there's group play, and then it's knockout round. So group play, these are all going to be a part of your regular season. So the group play will just appear on your regular schedule. But depending on how well you do there, you get into knockout round and knockout play. And that's not really in the schedule just yet because it's kind of a fluid situation.
Yeah, from what I'm reading, basically that section of the schedule is basically open for everybody, and they'll fill it in when they get there. Because all these games are going to count as regular season games except for the championship game. So it sounds like all the group play, because they split the NBA into like 6 groups, 3 per conference. And so I guess all the group play there will be part of the regular season. Since it's, conference teams, that's easy for them to do since you obviously play a lot of the conference teams. You play them 3 or 4 times a year. But yeah, once you get to the knockout stage, then it gets a little more complicated. And I guess it may end up leading to teams playing another team maybe a little more often, or I guess one more game. Maybe you play a team 5 times in a year. Maybe that'll happen. But yeah, then you get to the championship game, and I guess it's possible that there'll be 2 teams that play 83 games, I guess.
Right, because it's still supposed to try to keep things to just the standard 82 regular season games. The format of this in-season tournament is supposed to still keep teams within their normal, basically, game routines and how many games they'll play and volume for the season, except for those teams who play in the championship.
Yeah, and I guess this will make the schedule really weird for that, I guess, for about a month. Or maybe a couple weeks,
Yeah, it starts in early November and then ends in early December.
Yeah, so I guess probably that late November, December, especially for teams that don't make the knockout round, they may not know who they're going to be playing. Now they may there's the 22 teams, they may be playing each other, but then teams that get knocked out of the knockout round, then those teams join the pool of teams that are playing this week. So it's going to be this whole mess of scheduling. The NBA's invited this giant mess of scheduling for themselves, but I guess it's for something that's fun. I mean, I wasn't super into the idea, but I think the way they're formatting, it can work. It's not going to be this magical tournament that people are super hyped about, especially not for the first 5-10 years of it.
No, and look, the NBA is trying to move up the timeline of when people pay attention to the NBA. Because even though the NBA season begins in late October, people generally don't really start paying attention to it till Christmas.
Yeah, like after the NFL.
Right. So they're trying to move the clock up a little bit as far as people's attention. But Utah is going to be in what's called West A. So they're going to be grouped with Memphis, Phoenix, the Lakers, and the Trailblazers. So those are the teams they'll play. They'll have 2 games at home, 2 on the road, and we'll see how they do from there if they advance. So you have these these different groups, 6 groups, and you have each the top team from each of those groups in a wild card who advance in this knockout round, and and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, it'll be tricky, and the groups are all meant to be formed based off of regular season records. They try and divide the teams so there's not a stacked group and a weak group over there. So you have some of the higher seeds and then a couple of non-playoff teams, and a lot of the groups play out the same way. Like you got the Kings, Golden State, Timberwolves, OKC, and San Antonio in another group. They're all fairly balanced.
Right. And it's because they had a formula for doing that. They put teams in different pots based on your record the previous year. So to try to make it a balanced grouping so one group's not stacked and the other is really weak.
Yeah. When I give the Jazz a decent chance to get out of this group, if they're a improved team from last year, that'll depend a lot on maybe John Collins or maybe even on Keyontae George and some of the other backcourt. So maybe the Jazz can make some noise in this tournament. We'll find out in November, I guess.
Yeah. So, there will be a most valuable player. There'll be an all-tournament team that they'll announce. And, so it's a real thing. It's going to happen starting this year.
Just feels like more fluff for PR departments in the NBA and social media and stuff.
Right, for players to pat themselves on the back.
Yeah, basically. It's that trying to create hype that you mentioned, like get people watching and get content out there, because it's hard in November and December to be pumping out a lot of good NBA content because the season's been going on for like a month and a half.
Teams barely starting to figure out who their team is.
Yeah, everyone's qualifying it with, if this continues. So the NBA is trying to do stuff. Can't fault them for that. I think they've organized this well. My early pessimism on the tournament has kind of subsided.
Last year, mid-November, Utah Jazz were the #1 team in the NBA.
Yeah, that didn't continue at all.
All right, got to take another quick break here in the Full Court Press. We got the stat that blew our minds, our player of the week. More about other things going on in sports. Love to hear from you as well. 435-339-0321.
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.E. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You're sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond, either natural or lab-grown, from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands, Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
At Cache Valley Bank, we are celebrating our pioneers and their contributions to shaping our great state. Join us as we celebrate the Days of 47 with our promotion. From now until July 31st, you can receive a 4.7 annual percentage yield on an 18-month certificate of deposit, or a 4% annual percentage yield on an 1847-day certificate of deposit. Come visit us or give us a call to learn more and be part of the celebration. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC. No minimum balance required. Early withdrawal penalty may apply.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Daryl's is hosting an Independence Day event like no other. Save up to 30% on selected appliances. That includes Whirlpool, Maytag, GE, and more. Double dip and save even more with Daryl's exclusive mail-in rebates of up to $600 on select appliance packages. Apply for 12 months interest-free financing, plus you get Daryl's famous service after the sale. Daryl's Appliance Service and Sales Independence Day event, west on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
The new Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in Logan offers an atmosphere that's vibrant, energetic, and friendly. Serving handmade juicy burgers, wood-fired pizzas, wings, nachos, and locally crafted beer while bringing a unique space to downtown Logan. Now offering lighter lunch options like personal-sized pizzas and sliders, or choose from your favorites like wings, beer cheese, fried pickles, and more. Stop by for a quick and delicious lunch that will get you back to work on time. Experience Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
The Murdoch Summer Tour sales event is here. At Murdoch Chevrolet, we're turning up the volume on savings. For those summer days with the windows down and tunes playing loud, Murdoch Chevrolet has the perfect ride to make your summer unforgettable. Right now, take up to $6,000 off select new Silverados. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Chevrolet, in Logan and Woods Cross, or online at murdochchev.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Call 866-628-3065 to see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 7/31/23.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Valvoline Synthetic, Valvoline Max Life. They're the engine oils that your vehicle loves. Valvoline Instant Oil Change by Angie's. Carry those types of oils and more. Go check it out. They're open 7 days a week. 695 North Main in Logan. Quick, clean, and easy how it should be when it comes to getting your oil changed. So stop in today or really any day. It's that Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Last night began the festivities for Major League Baseball's All-Star festivities. Started with the Home Run Derby. This is how it ended.
Pops it up. He's got 23. One last pitch. And Rosarena falls short. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has won the 2023 T-Mobile Home Run Derby at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. 16 years after his father won the Home Run Derby in San Francisco, Vlad Jr. wins it in Seattle.
That's very cool. Father and son can claim the same trophy for the Home Run Derby. So very cool. We got the All-Star game tonight in Seattle. Part of the festivities, a lot of people gather together, and the commissioner usually has something to say around the All-Star break and when All-Star festivities are going on. No different this year. Rob Manfred talked a little bit about what's going on with the Oakland A's and that they have begun filing their paperwork for relocation from Oakland to Las Vegas, and also mentioned that he remains hopeful that the Rays can make progress with local officials on a permanent home this year, and because there's been a lot of speculation that they could be on the move, but he did say publicly that there is he's put together a committee looking at expanding Major League Baseball to 32 teams, but wants to have the issues of the A's and the Rays settled before exploring expansion.
Yeah, and so we have the A's. They're just about settled. They seem to have gotten the approval and legislation and all that. So it seems like the one half of that equation is just about solved. At least we know what's happening. You may not like it, may not be clean. Something's going to happen. With the Rays, that may end up taking longer. I was just looking at it earlier, just like, what's the general idea of what's going on there? There's one potential proposal of them moving to Orlando or like Central Florida. Supposedly one of the founders of the Orlando Magic's trying to put together like a $1.7 billion stadium to move them just into Central Florida and out of the St. Petersburg area. But there's other reports at Tampa Bay that the St. Petersburg area is trying to put together a $1.2 billion stadium to keep them there. And the timeline for that is by the end of the year. So we're not going to get much settled for a few months probably.
Yeah.
So this isn't. And I keep saying this as far as we talk about Salt Lake City maybe getting a team. This is not a short timeline.
No. It's still going to be a few years.
It's going to be months, maybe even a while before we know if Salt Lake might get a team, much less the process of them getting a team where it would be until almost 2030 before, the first pitch is thrown in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's going to take a minute. Speaking of taking a minute, we're going to take a step aside and pay some bills. On the other side of this timeout, we're going to talk about the player of the week and a stat that blew our minds.
Advanced Fireplace and Stove wants to thank you for voting them 3 years running the gold medal winners in the Best of Northern Utah contest. With over 35 display models in their showroom, their goal is to make the process of making your home comfortable and cozy an easy experience. With premier brands like Heat and Glow, Quadrifire, and Vermont Castings, they have something for every style, every home, every budget. Building or renovating, they've got you covered. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Girls, us guys are always trying to score some brownie points, but we need all the help we can get. So dropping some subtle hints is helpful, such as your favorite food is Italian, you love the color green, and you want the ring from Jarek's Fine Jewelry, the place with the bright green cars on 930 North Main Street. Okay, so it might not be so subtle, but that's okay. Remember, we need the help. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Now remember, just tell him it's the place with the bright green cars.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hey, Napa Auto Parts, if you need work done on your vehicle, they can give you some really good recommendations to a couple of Napa Auto Care car centers with ASE certified technicians. So if you need help with your vehicle and not sure where to go, just go ask the folks at Napa Auto Parts, 5 different locations between Preston and Providence. Let's see, last couple minutes here on the Full Court Press. It's a Tuesday. That means it's an opportunity to talk about some things that kind of stand out to us, either a stat or a player. And let's start out the player, shall we?
Time to see who the real MVP is.
If you have a good game, your game is going to say that. You don't have to say it.
Puts a lot of cool things in perspective anytime you're the first time doing something.
It's the Full Court Press Player of the Week.
Let's go!
All right, Jason, who's your player of the week?
Well, I had a couple. I kind of choose between them. I'm going to go with one. The one might be stealing it from you, so I'm going to go with another one. There are probably 3 different players I could have chosen. I'm going to go with RSL's Pablo Ruiz.
Ooh.
He had 3 assists in RSL's 4-0 win over Orlando. So 3 of the goals were assisted by Pablo Ruiz. 4 different goal scorers, 1 assister for at least 3 of those.
Very solid. I'm going to go with Sherry Hawkins, the track athlete from Utah State, formerly. She's USU All-American. Finished 3rd in the heptathlon at the U.S. Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon this last week. And she'll be competing at the World Championships in about 4 weeks. I don't think we have time to play the fancy music and all, but the stat that blew your mind, Jason.
So I'm going to stick with Pablo Ruiz. 3 assists in the one game. It's the first time an RSL player has done that since 2012, and a blast of the past for me, a name Fabian Espindola was a player. I don't know if any of you recognize that name, but he was one of my favorite players back when he was playing for RSL during that time period. And so it was like, first time in more than a decade.
It's a long time.
An RSL player has done that.
For me, I'm going to the NBA Summer League. A lot of hype about Victor Wembanyama. His debut in a San Antonio Spurs jersey. Their first game in Las Vegas averaged more viewers than the Spurs' lone regular season appearance on national television. That happened on ESPN in January at 1.36 million viewers. Their Summer League game this past weekend, 1.39 million viewers. By the way, that was the second highest overall viewership for a Summer League game, only behind Zion Williamson's debut in 2019. Also, another little side note, that got more viewers than a regular season game between Charlotte and Boston in the regular season. So a lot of hype around Victor Wembanyama.
All for him to not even play that well.
Yeah, he did not have a good game.
He did much better in his next game. So, anyway, 9-3-1-5, he's wanting to know when we're going to do our 2-hour show again. Sometime in August. We haven't really specifically planned that, but that's about when
it's coming up.
Happen.
Just a few weeks.
Be patient.
Got some big announcements coming up, too, so stay tuned.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Despite not including Major League Baseball's biggest star, Shohei Ohtani, the Home Run Derby became an extension of baseball's newfound momentum. The Derby used to be must-see TV. In 1996, we saw Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire go head-to-head. And 2002, Sammy Sosa hit multiple balls out of Miller Park. And in 2008, Josh Hamilton hit 28 home runs in a single round. The once great event has taken a step back over the last couple of years, but thanks to a format change and some new players, last night's Home Run Derby was a major success. Julio Rodriguez entertained the home crowd with 41 home runs to knock off the two-time champ Pete Alonso. The Orioles' Adley Rutschman smacked 27 home runs in an unprecedented switch-hitting performance. And a new star was born with Vlad Guerrero Jr. taking home the crown. Major League Baseball is once again on the rise. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.